The largest children's hospital in the world was lying about a program that was manipulating, mutilating, and sterilizing young, confused adolescent children.
Welcome to Dave's Club. I'm glad you're here. I came across this article on Blaze News and I just had to comment. It seems the Biden DOJ is going after a surgeon whistleblower who exposed a Texas children's hospital that was mutilating children with gender reassignment surgeries after they had told the public the procedures had been halted. Let's check out this article. Surgeon who blew whistle on genital mutilation at Texas Children's Hospital faces 4 felonies. Back in January, Blaze News shared the story of Dr. Ethain Haim, a 33-year-old board-eligible general surgeon who publicly revealed that transgender-related medical interventions continued at Texas Children's Hospital even after its leaders claimed they had been put on pause. Dr. Haim now faces 4 federal charges in connection with his exposure of Texas Children's Hospital. Blaze News spoke with him to learn more details about his recent interaction with armed federal agents and his unwavering desire to see the truth prevail. From 2018 until 2023, Dr. Haim worked as a surgical resident at several Houston area hospitals, including Texas Children's. At that time, the public outcry against gender-related medical interventions on kids, such as puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgical genital mutilation, grew louder and louder. And executives at Texas Children issued a statement in March 2022 claiming that all such interventions have been brought to a halt.
General Surgeon Ethain Haim is speaking out against people who perform transgender procedures on minors.
These doctors believe they can become gods and create something new. It's not a doctor's job to harm people, even if the person wants it.
So, this right here is a controversy. What constitutes harm? For me, mutilating a child's genitals is harmful. A child is not mature enough to make such a life-altering decision, even if they think at the time that they want to do it.
Harm, he says, that's often permanent.
They have to give up something that they have no concept of understanding, which is the potential loss of having a family in the future.
Texas Children's Hospital, where Dr. Haim worked, announced they were stopping their transgender procedures, prompting the resignation of Dr. Catherine Gordon, a staunch proponent. However, Haim said he discovered the procedures were still taking place.
There were a few residents who I knew who said that they had just finished implanting a puberty blocking device in 11, 12, 13-year-old kid who believed they were transgender, who had all these psychiatric issues which were being unaddressed.
Haim gave documents, possibly redacted patient records, to reporter Chris Rufo to prove the treatments were still going on.
The largest children's hospital in the world was lying about a program that was manipulating, mutilating, and sterilizing young, confused adolescent children.
That's crazy. We can't even have faith that our hospitals and doctors aren't lying to us.
Within weeks, Haim was told he was the subject of a federal investigation, reportedly for violating patient privacy, which he denies.
I am being targeted because I was a whistleblower.
We have no indication of what he's being investigated for at this point. Our understanding is that the DOJ would be interested in charging him on a technicality if they could.
Dr. Haim's attorney calls it a scare tactic.
The Department of Justice, the FBI, Health and Human Services Division, there are numerous agencies within the Department of Justice that are abusing their power to coerce whistleblowers to keep their mouths shut.
The Department of Justice has been completely perverted from its original function. Rather than working for justice, it's pushing a narrative.
The Justice Department told CBN News they cannot comment on the existence or lack thereof of any potential investigation. Dr. Haim isn't the only healthcare provider opposed to these transgender procedures. That's why the Religious Freedom Institute helped launch the Medical Conscience Rights Initiative, stating providers should have the right to refuse to perform them.
past few years, we've seen laws passed in Arkansas, Ohio, South Carolina, Montana, and Florida. We're working right now in 6 other states.
However, many healthcare workers may do them anyway.
When you're in that situation, there's pressure because, especially at academic medical centers, if you decide to speak out against something like this, you can almost guarantee there's going to be severe career ramifications.
You know, it's like everywhere now. If you push back against a woke agenda in most careers, you're risking your future. I'm only doing this channel because I retired from my previous work. If I was still employed, there's no way I could even think about doing this.
Pushing back on transgender ideology is taking center stage here in Washington, D.C. This is where thousands of people are gathered for the big conservative political action conference.
I have children, and how that it's brought up constantly and perpetuated in the school system, I don't agree with it at all.
I think it should be outlawed for kids. Like, I think kids shouldn't be able to consent to puberty blockers, gender reassignment surgery.
Dr. Haim sat on the Genesis 127 panel, which focused on the biblical view of gender.
What is happening to these kids is not medicine.
There's nothing wrong with these kids' bodies. There's nothing wrong with these adults' bodies either. I mean, adults are getting harmed by this as well, and that's important to recognize. But there is no such thing as a transgender child. There are boys and there are girls.
And while so many oppose physically altering the bodies of youngsters, they do support helping kids emotionally.
Many young people are in chaos, they're lacking understanding, and they're lacking compassion. And that's where we have to start. And I think we have to start with loving them, listening to them, caring for them.
Telling these kids that they're perfect the way they are, that they're going through a hard time, and that the lessons they learn during those moments are what they can take to adulthood, and they can find happiness in how they were created.
That's a really beautiful message about finding happiness. To see Matt Walsh confront a woke gender ideologue, click here, and I will see you over there.